By the time you receive this audio, the live in reference to this audio would have aired already. So you might want to go to the live, the Sunday night live, where I refer to the Whispers and a song called Olivia. And I wanted to kind of elaborate on that because that made me think about something. People have memories, good and bad. And when it comes to them and their experiences and that they were involved in, they want to forget those memories. But how come with some of these people, when it comes to you, they don't want to forget your memories? See, when it comes to all about them and the shit that they do, oh, forgive and forget. Telling that to everybody, forgive and forget. But when somebody does something that's not even remotely close to what they did, all of a sudden they're the spawn of Satan and everything else. It's Armageddon. Some of y'all got this shit twisted, man. You do. I come across a couple of situations recently where somebody felt okay, that they were going to go ahead and just treat me as a spiritual dumping ground. And for those who don't know, I did post a video about being a spiritual janitor, so maybe I should talk about spiritual dumping ground too. But I allude to that in a lot of my other videos, so I don't think I'm going to go into detail about that now. People like that, they still don't know who they are. They're still confused. They don't know where they're coming from. These are the type of people who use that as a form of emotional manipulation to get things out of other people when in actuality they don't even know what they want, but they think they know what they want, so they try to manipulate other people into giving something that they want, but something that they really do not need. And please don't ask me to say it again. And that's true. These people are lost and confused. They're more lost and confused than you are. At least you know what the fuck up was about. These people don't even realize it. They are in that energy. And have the audacity to try to emotionally manipulate you with the memory. And then on top of that, try to act like they're in control of and dictate your behavior. Because they feel in their mind, well, because you did X, Y, Z, you need to act a certain way in order to serve me. Which is partially narcissistic, by the way. They expect you to jump through some damn hoops. These are the type of people who are never satisfied. See, the truth is if you go behind the scenes, you're going to find out this person ain't satisfied with a damn thing that they get in their life. They're not satisfied. You were just a piece of the puzzle. And the little bit that they got on you, they just blew that shit up out of proportion so they could use that as a tool to try to emotionally manipulate you. And the reason why I referred to the song Olivia, if you don't know, check it out on SoundCloud, YouTube, whatever. It's by a group called The Whispers in the late 70s. And it was talking about Olivia, and in parentheses it says lost and turned out. Some of y'all are spiritually lost and turned out. That's going to be the title of this particular audio. It's going to be called Spiritually Lost and Turned Out. Because your programming is all fucked up. And the song by The Whispers is basically, in a nutshell, about a young girl who was convinced by some guy because of a lack of stability in her own home or lack of stability within herself. She fell for the okie doke from a pimp, and he took her away from her family and turned her out on the streets. And the thing about it is that she won't listen to anybody because she is so brainwashed to believe that what she's doing is hers and that she has control, when in actuality she's just a puppet on a string. And they go into detail in the song about how the family is trying to reach out to her, but she won't listen, won't pay any attention. She's stubborn. She's stubborn in this fake reality, and she's actually harming herself and doesn't realize it. And there are a lot of people that are spiritually doing that right now, being stubborn about some bullshit. And you've been stubborn about some bullshit for years. And in the meantime, while you're being stubborn about some bullshit and trying to emotionally manipulate other people, you're making some fucked up decisions every single day. I'm talking to somebody right now because that used to be me. Couldn't tell me shit, and I just kept screwing up and 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 couldn't understand why. because I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing. I didn't know who I was supposed to be. I didn't know what direction I needed to go in. I didn't have a sound belief system. I didn't have a strong moral code. I didn't have it. And yes, I did go through the period where I blamed the parents and whatnot, but they were just pieces of the puzzle. They weren't the whole puzzle. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility, especially if you're grown. Be different if you're a child. You're developing, but when you're grown, there's going to be a point in time where you have to be responsible for those things. So some of you are spiritually lost and turned out and have the audacity to try to manipulate someone else by sitting up there, throwing all these forgotten memories into their face when you see that it is obvious that this person has moved on. You purposefully do that because you want them to feel fucked up and bad, because you're still feeling fucked up and bad about what happened before, even though it wasn't totally that person's fault, but they were the one that was in the closest proximity. It's like when you're on the highway and you got to go to the bathroom. You go to the first rest area that you can go to. You don't pick and choose. And that's exactly what you're doing in regards to channeling your energy. You're going to the first rest stop so you can go take a shit on something. Okay? And then you don't know. You get there and the restroom might not be open. So you got to get in your car and you got to go back up a little bit, or else you got to pull over to the side of the road. You got to do what you got to do. But some of y'all, that's exactly what you're doing. You're not even addressing your own insecurities. You're not addressing your own mistakes. You're in this mode where you figure you're going to go ahead and manipulate somebody else to give you what you claim you missed all this time. But how do you know what you missed all that time when you don't even know you? You don't know what you want. That's why you ain't satisfied with nothing. You sit here, you go to school all these years and get all these degrees and get a nice paying job. You ain't satisfied with that. You turn around, you finally meet the love of your life and everything else, and then all of a sudden, a decade passes, all of a sudden they're not good enough for you anymore. You ain't satisfied with that. Now, mind you, now during the time you didn't have these things, you whined and cried and complained about it, and you just couldn't wait until you got it. You turn around and get the house and move into the neighborhood that you whined and cried about, saved up for 5 years to get, and you get in the house, and then not even 2 seconds after you get in the house, there's a problem. You know these types of people. These are people that will never be satisfied with nothing that they get in their life. And don't get me wrong, a lot of these people get a lot of things. A lot of these people are very, very abundant materially. They have things that a lot of regular people wish that they could have. But they're still miserable and upset. They ain't satisfied with nothing. And the reason why they're not satisfied with anything or anyone around them is because they do not know themselves. They were looking for that person, anybody that they come across that's supposed to fill a void for them. How do you know where the void is when you don't even know who you are? When have you taken time to figure out who you were? So the only thing that I can tell these people is if you're one of these types of people that's just not satisfied with anything, only two things is going to happen to you. Number one, your circle of influence is going to get very small because people are going to get sick and tired of you not being satisfied with things. They're going to be sick and tired of walking eggshells around you, and they're going to be sick and tired of your constant complaining and dissatisfaction of everything. You refuse to be happy. You refuse to be satisfied. And the second thing that's going to happen is the little bit that you got, you're going to lose. And you're going to be to a point where it's not going to be nobody but you and your creator. And you're going to have to come to terms with who the fuck you are. You're not going to have a choice because you're not going to have anybody to manipulate or dump on. So as far as the forgotten memories are concerned, you make sure before you address somebody else's forgotten memories, as far as you're concerned, make sure you've addressed your own first. Because somebody was watching you just like you were watching them. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Peace.